Hello, everyone. Ella and Charlie here. Hey, Charlie. From All Writers Welcome Facebook group and allwriterswelcome.com. And I am here today to talk to you about the top 5 mistakes that authors make when they are marketing their books. So, yeah, these are the things you don't want to be doing. And I'm going to start here with the least offensive and go to the worst thing that you can do. Okay, so we're starting with number 5. And number 5 is, you guys, I got my trusty notes here. Number 5 mistake that people make when marketing their book is going into Facebook groups and onto Facebook and being like, buy my book. And they just post the book and they don't interact or engage with anybody in the group. And they just post a link to their book and they're like, please buy it, please review it, please take a look at it, buy it. You guys, I want you to imagine that you're walking into a bookstore and you see an author there. And rather than engaging in conversation, that author is like, hi, buy my book. And they're like, hi, can you buy this? You just pick up a book and we're like, buy it. No, that's not how it works. This is social media. Imagine that you are just talking to regular people, because you are. So that's the worst mistake. That's the fifth, not the worst. It's the 5th worst mistake, is just telling people to just buy your book instead of engaging them like real people, like we all are, real people. The 4th biggest mistake that people make when marketing their book is having a bad book cover. And that's so hard because it's so subjective, but the book cover is not a summary it's not a visual representation of your story. Your book cover is a marketing tool, 100% a marketing tool. So how can you get a good book cover? Well, the best way you can get a good book cover is to, one that you know that people will like and that they will buy, is to go look at other book covers in your genre. Look at the top 20 or 40 book covers in your category in Amazon and see what those people are doing. And then go to someplace like Canva and make and canva.com, and it's a free software that helps you to you can make a book cover easy peasy and make a good book cover, because making a bad book cover will keep somebody from buying or even clicking on your book in the first place. So you need to have something that appeals, and you want it specifically to appeal to your audience. And you find that out by going and seeing what's selling in your category. The number 3 mistake that people make when trying to market their book is not networking with other authors. Okay, so authors are like, networking with other authors leads you to so many opportunities. So if you are not networking with other authors, specifically in your genre, you're making a huge mistake, because when you go, the potential for networking is huge. They can promote your books, you can promote theirs to your page, to your various pages, which increases your audience exponentially. At the end of your book online, if you have a network of authors that are in your same genre, you can exchange links to each other's books, just like you have in the end of a regular book that you would buy at the store. They sometimes have little tidbit samplers of other authors' books that they publish at that publisher, to like teasers, so that you want to go buy them. Well, you can do that on your own. You don't have to have the publisher arranging it for you. You can actually network with other authors and do that for each other. So if you're not networking with other authors in your genre, and by networking, I don't mean like smarmy. I see Donnie says, my biggest mistake is that I don't market my book at all. Oh no, Donnie, no. Take these mistakes and then, yeah, no, bonus mistake. Network with, and by network, I just mean connect with. I mean befriend. I mean, these are people that are doing what you're doing. I don't mean like smarmy, like, hey, here's my card. I mean like, hey, I'm an author, you're an author, we write the same genre, you're probably going to like them pretty well anyways because they are like you. So start meeting people online, meeting other authors. If you aren't doing that now, I mean, these are the people that you could be in one of those anthologies with. Like, you could be in an anthology, but you can't until you know some of these other authors. So that's the mistake number 3. Mistake number 2 is not collecting email addresses on your website. So if you don't have a website, that's like the caveat. Like, you gotta have a website. But a lot of authors are not collecting email addresses. And why would you want to do that? Well, these are your super fans. Okay, the people who are going to sign up to your email are going to be your super fans. If you aren't collecting their email addresses and you're only collecting their likes on social media, the thing about social media is, even though it's fabulous and fantastic and I love it, you don't have any control over the algorithms. You don't have any control over whether your content shows up on their stream, like on their feed. Okay, so let's say, for example, that somebody reads your book and they love it, and they go and they like your page on Facebook. But let's say you just barely published that book and it's taking you at least 6 months to write and publish the second book, which is not like some crazy number. 6 months is like pretty typical or fast. Okay, let's say they want the second book, okay? but they don't go to your page on Facebook. They liked your page on Facebook initially, but then 6 months goes by and they haven't been back. Your content is not going to show up on their feed because they haven't been back to see you. But if you have their email address, you can send them an email saying, hey, book 2 is out. Go buy it. And they will, because like me, most people are like dying for the next installment of a series, or like desperately waiting for the next book from specific authors. So make sure you're collecting email addresses, and you can send a newsletter out occasionally, but it doesn't have to be often. And there's software to do that. You can do it on MailChimp.com, and that's how MailChimp is free, and you can connect with your audience. The other thing about that is that you get to talk to your audience. Like, you get to engage with your audience. You get to engage with your super fans. I was reading a post today in a different writing group, and the guy was like, one of my favorite newsletter subscribers, one of my subscribers to my newsletter unsubscribed, and he'd been such a super fan that I'd actually named one of the side characters after him in 3 of my books. And he's like, why did he unsubscribe? What happened? Well, it turned out the guy had passed away and his wife had unsubscribed from all these things. But I'm saying, like, this guy clearly, which is terrible, but they clearly had a relationship between the person receiving the newsletter and the author. Like, that amazing kind of relationship that the guy was like sad, and but the author was sad when the man passed away. And that's kind of thing. You can't have that unless you're engaging with your audience. And so the newsletter or an email is the best way to do that. Okay, the number one, now we're doing to the number one, drum roll, the number one mistake that authors are making when marketing their ebooks or books is waiting until your book is completed to start marketing. So that's, Donnie, that's kind of like my biggest mistake, is that I don't market my book at all. That is the biggest mistake, is to not even market until your book is complete, because you've got all this time and all this really great content that you're creating that you could send out on a newsletter, that you can engage with people while you're writing. So you're like, oh, I just finished this really great scene, this really great snippet. If you have a newsletter, you can share that snippet with your readers and make them like build that tension between your book and when they want to buy it. They're like, man, I really want to buy that book. I really want to buy that. That looks like a good scene. There was one recently, one that I follow, Jane and Eve and Jane Washington, and they put like a tiny little teaser out for one of their books that wasn't done yet, and it had the word nipples in it like 3 times. I think I've said this in one of the other videos, but I'm like, it's such a funny book that I was like, nipples, I have to watch. Like, it's so hilarious that they say nipples like 3 times in one short paragraph, and I was like, I can't wait for this book to come out. Amanda says, should you still market early if it's the 5th book of a series? Is it worth it? Amanda, this book that I'm telling you about is the 3rd, or was the 2nd book in the series, and I'm like dying waiting for the 3rd book in the series, and any little teaser that they put out, I am like salivating for. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see what's gonna happen in the next book. They put they put like one sentence on the cover of each book that kind of gives you a hint about what might be happening in the book, and people are all over that. They're like, what do you think the book's gonna be about? Here's this other sentence, one sentence on the cover that's kind of like a teaser. So do I think you should still market even though it's the 5th in the series? Yes. Yes, 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 absolutely. Get people there so that when, on the day that you publish it, they are clicking the purchase button right then. Like, why not? So those are my tips. I'm going to go through them to summarize. If anybody, you guys, if you have any questions, go ahead. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you for your question. So the number 5 mistake is posting "buy my book" all over social media and not building relationships. Like Megan just said, if your marketing strategy is about building relationships, it's always worth it. The number 4 mistake is having a bad book cover, because you guys have an amazing story. You've spent all this time on a story, and nobody's even going to get to read it if they don't click on your book. So you need to have a good book cover. That's mistake number 4, having a bad book cover. Mistake number 3 that authors make is not networking with other authors. There's so many opportunities that come from connecting with other authors and promoting each other. And if you are not meeting other authors and like befriending, when I say networking, I mean befriending, because these are your people. They're your people. They're writing in your genre. They're doing what you do. They're fantasizing about the same, like, they're like, my favorite books is this. And you're like, me too. And those are your people. Number 2 mistake is not collecting email addresses right now. Like, you should be collecting email addresses of your super fans. I didn't tell you this, but we have somebody in the All Writers Welcome Academy, and she's publishing her first book in the next month or 2. She has over 500 people on her email list, you guys, and she hasn't published the book yet. Like, how cool is that? Like, how awesome would that be to have hundreds of people on your list ready to buy your book? Now, not all of them are going to buy your book immediately, like every time you send an email, but still, a portion of them will. And that's really exciting. Okay, the other thing is the number 1 mistake, in summary, is waiting until your book is complete to actually start marketing. You could be marketing and building your super fans now. Like I said with this other lady, 500 people on her email list, and she hasn't even finished her book yet. Like, that's insane. But people are excited about it because she has been marketing to them while she's been writing the book. So those are the top 5 mistakes that authors make when marketing their book. April said, wow, I know, it's so cool. So if you think that this was useful, go ahead and share it and like it. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and put them in the comments and we'll get back to you. Or maybe even make another live about your question. And if you want to get more tips about writing, marketing, and publishing your book online, go ahead and sign up for the allwriterswelcome.com newsletter. So it's allwriterswelcome.com/newsletter, and we will send you tips and tricks straight to your email address. And we will notify you of when these lives are coming. So if you want to catch the Facebook Live, then you can get an email in advance, and that way you can be here and ask me questions live. Yeah, me and Megan, we do writing newsletter, or we do writing Facebook Live once a week and a marketing Facebook Live once a week. If you sign up to our newsletter, you'll be notified about when those are coming up, and you'll get other tips from us straight to your email box. So thank you guys very, very much. I'm so happy to see you. Again, this is Ella from the All Writers Welcome Facebook group and allwriterswelcome.com. Thank you, April. I see you. I love All Writers Welcome. We love you too, you guys. Hugs and happy writing. Bye.